Hi, my name is Claude Keller. Welcome to my talk, Team Leadership, or how to actively lead a team in a hybrid work environment. In this talk, I'm going to address three things. Number one, I'll speak to you about the new insights for team leadership in a hybrid work environment. Secondly, I will tell you about psychological safety and why it's important for the success of a team. And thirdly, I'm going to show you what you can do to promote psychological safety in your team. Now, various studies have shown that the pandemic has shifted the attention within a team away from the people and their relationship towards tasks and results. Therefore, work became more impersonal. In a study with 61,000 employees at Microsoft, it became clear that people work more hours at the home office, but at the same time, they became more isolated and they shared less information among themselves. An article in the California Management Review came to the same conclusion. Task orientation became much more important and relationship became less important. This is in stark contrast with the human needs for belonging and safety. A value center study with 500,000 people has shown that people need most a sense of belonging and the sense that they can actually contribute. The famous Aristoteles project at Google with 180 teams came to one conclusion. The highest performing teams, the highest innovative teams, differentiated themselves from the lower performing teams, the not so innovative teams, by one main factor. It was the level of psychological safety within the team. The composition of the team or the qualification of the team members was unimportant. So what have we learned so far? Number one, in a hybrid work environment, it is key to consciously focus on the needs and the relationship of the people. Second, psychological safety is the foundation for high-performing teams. Psychologically safe teams will always outperform other teams that feel less safe. So let me ask you, what could you do to focus more on the people and the relationships in your team? I'm sure you have already thought about this, so let me just mention quickly three simple ideas. Idea number one, consciously reach out to your team members and ask them, how are you doing? What are you missing the most working from home? Number two, for instance, at the operational meeting or during a call, why don't you have a check-in where everybody quickly speaks about how they feel? And at the end of the meeting, you have a check-out where you speak about the personal highlight for the meeting. A third idea, and this has been practiced and it has proven very valuable, set up a team meeting, a team call, short in time, where you exclusively speak about how everybody is doing. Questions such as, what's working well? What do I need? What am I missing? How can I offer support to others, or where would I be thankful for support? So these are three simple things. And you probably have thought about these before. Now let me talk about psychological safety. What is psychological safety? Amy Edmondson, Harvard leadership professor, one of the thinkers about psychological safety, defines psychological safety as follows. Psychological safety is a sense of conviction that I'm able to openly speak my mind at any moment in the team without the risk of embarrassment, rejection, or punishment. So let me ask you, how safe do you feel in your team? Are you bringing up all your ideas, your concerns, maybe your challenges? How do your team members feel? Are they being open? Your peers, maybe even your superior. So this brings us to the question, what can you do to promote psychological safety? In essence, you can do three things. Number one, make sure everybody understands the relationship between making mistakes and its importance for innovation, and therefore establish a new mindset. I mean, in an ever-changing world, it is key for the long-term success of a team to be innovative. Innovative means we have to try out new things. Trying out new things means things will go wrong. So what happens if people are afraid to speak about when things go wrong? This fear is the end of development, innovation, and learning. Without psychological safety, there is no innovation. The second thing you can do is create trust that every voice needs to be heard and is important. Many people at companies rather say nothing than to run the risk to be embarrassed or to look stupid. And that is exactly the reason why most employees, and that's a fact, most employees have ideas for improvements or they are aware of problems, but they never speak about them. So I think it is important for every voice to be heard. So what can you do that people are being heard, that they speak up? First of all, go and lead the way. Speak about your own needs. Speak about where you tried something and when it went wrong. Or do you think people will talk about the uncomfortable things if their boss, their leader, is not doing it the same way? The second thing you can do, ask open questions, listen more, and talk less. Because asking questions will open the minds of the employees. It will make them reflect. And if you ask open questions, it will naturally guide them to look for opportunities for possible solutions. So let me ask you, where and how are you already leading the way? Are you speaking about your own challenges? And what would be a good opportunity to practice? And where and how are you asking open questions? I mean, what might be a good question for your next team meeting? Think about it. So we have spoken about two things you can do to boost psychological safety. Number one, make them understand the relationship of mistakes for innovation and learning. Second, create trust so every voice is being heard. The third thing you can do, be positive and focus everything on learning. Let me ask you a provocative question. Did you ever get up in the morning and consciously thought about, today I'm going to do a crappy job? No, of course not, right? I mean, nobody does. Also, your employees never will, which means an employee is always trying to do its best under the given circumstances. And one of the key circumstances is the feeling of safety towards their boss. That's why it's so important that you're very empathetic and positive, in particular when somebody comes up and tells you about the problem or a mistake. That's when the big learning happens. So how do you typically react when an error, a mistake, is being reported to you, or when things don't go right? How could you actually manage to be very appreciative when people come up and tell you about those things? Let me summarize what we have been speaking about in this talk. Number one, in hybrid teams, an active focus on relationships is important. So schedule time to intentionally reach out to people. Number two, psychological safety is the most important attribute for high performance and innovation. Third, as a leader, there are three things you can do to strengthen the psychological safety of your team. Strengthen the understanding that there is no learning and innovation without mistakes. Build trust, lead the way, and invite even uncomfortable opinions. Be empathetic and solution-oriented, especially in difficult moments. In the accompanying material of this talk, you'll find additional resources, links, books, articles that will allow you to go deeper into psychological safety in case you choose to do so. In addition, if you'd like to kind of change yourself, Check out my video on Agile Mindset, in the pathway Agile Mindset. There I think you'll find interesting tips on how to go about it. Well, and now I wish you a fun and successful journey on your way to innovation, high performance and psychological safety.